Before we jump into today's episode, I just want to take a quick second to share something that's really close to my heart. I know you've heard the ad before, but this is more than just an ad to me. These books are conversations I care about having. I've written 4 books so far, and each one carries a different kind of message. If Only I Had a Home is a 3-part series that brings light to things we do not always talk about openly: mental health, bullying, family struggles, the quiet realities people carry. It's not just for people who have lived it, it's for anyone who wants to understand a little deeper. The Wounds from a Healing Heart is a little different. It's a collection of reflections and poetry for anyone walking through emotional pain, healing, and personal growth. It does not rush you, it just sits with you. And a lot of readers have told me they come back to it during seasons when they need that reminder that they are not alone. My other books continue those honest conversations in their own way. And I also have a new one coming soon that feels completely different from anything I've released before. If you've ever connected with this podcast, I truly believe you'll connect with my writing too. All of my books are available on Amazon, and you can find everything in one place through my link tree at No Gossip Just Talk. All right, now let's get into this episode. Welcome back to another episode of No Gossip Just Talk. I'm your host, Solei, and today's topic we're talking about how everybody wants real until real gets uncomfortable. And I want to talk about this from a self improvement space. Because let's be honest, we all know, or probably are the ones that say we want honesty until somebody tells us something that hits a little close to home. Because a lot of us say we want real honesty, communication, emotional maturity. We say we want people to be vulnerable, transparent, consistent, and authentic. But the real question is, can we handle it when realness does not show up the way we pictured it? Can we handle realness when it corrects us? Can we handle realness when it challenges our ego? Can we handle realness when it makes us sit with the truth we were trying to avoid? Because everybody wants real until real says, let's talk about your part too. And then that's when the room gets quiet. That's when the energy changes. Sometimes realness is uncomfortable. Sometimes it's a mirror some people love avoiding. Sometimes realness is someone saying, I cannot and will not keep pretending. This is okay when it's not. Sometimes realness is you telling yourself, I have to stop calling this loyalty when it is really fear of letting go. So let's breathe into this conversation because this episode is not just about other people not being ready for realness. It's also about asking ourselves, am I really ready for the truth I keep asking for? Everybody wants real people in their life: a real friend, a real partner, a real conversation, a real connection, real support, real loyalty, real love, real energy. But sometimes when real actually shows up, we realize we may have only wanted the version of real that made us feel good or that benefited us. And that's when we have to understand real does not always agree with us or tell us what we want to hear. Real does not always protect the version of the story where we are the victim, the hero, and the narrator all at the same time. Sometimes real says, I understand you were hurt, but you still have to be accountable. Sometimes real says, you deserve love, but you also have to learn how to receive it without pushing it away. Sometimes real says, you want peace, but you keep entertaining chaos because chaos feels familiar. Sometimes real says, you want better, but better requires you to choose differently. And that is where it gets uncomfortable because a lot of people do not actually reject truth, they reject the discomfort that comes with truth. And let's be honest, we have all had moments where somebody told us something true and we did not want to hear it. Questioning why were they giving their opinion? They think they know it all, and why they were being judgmental. Because when it comes to the truth, it can hit. And when it hits, it can hit very hard. The truth can also humble you. But self improvement begins when we stop running from the truth just because it does not feed into our ego. One thing I am learning is that wanting something and having the capacity for it are two different things. You can want real love and still not know how to receive healthy love. You can want honesty and still get defensive when someone tells you the truth. You can want vulnerability and still shut down when someone opens up. You can want communication and still only be comfortable when the conversation goes your way. You can want balance and still expect people to adjust to you while you do not adjust to them. Because realness requires emotional capacity. It requires patience, humility, listening. It requires not making everything about your feelings the second you feel uncomfortable. And that part right there is hard because sometimes when people are being real with us, we stop listening to understand and start listening to defend. And while they're still talking, we are in our heads, already preparing the closing argument. We're bringing up something from 2 years ago that has nothing to do with the conversation. And now, what could have been a moment of understanding turns into drama. Now, I also want to offer another perspective because everybody does not avoid realness for the same reason. Some people avoid realness because they are not ready to grow. Some people avoid realness because truth has not always been safe for them. Some people grew up in environments where honesty came with yelling, where correction came with shame, communication turned into abuse, vulnerability was used against you. So now, when somebody says, I just want to be honest with you, their body does not hear honesty. Their body hears danger. Their nervous system gets ready to defend, shut down, or escape. And that is why we need compassion in these conversations. Because not everyone who struggles to receive truth is trying to be difficult. Some people are learning how to feel safe in conversations that once felt threatening. But here is the balance. At some point, self improvement says, I understand why I shut down, but I want to learn how to stay present. I understand why I get defensive, but I want to learn how to listen. I understand why honesty scares me, but I want to stop treating every truth like an attack. Sometimes the people who trigger us reveal the places where we still need healing. Now, that does not mean everybody who triggers us is right. Some people say, I am just being real when really they are being mean, messy, or emotionally reckless. Being real is not a free pass to hurt people. Honesty without care can be cruelty. We need honesty and emotional intelligence. Realness, it may challenge us, but it does not destroy us. It may stretch us, but it does not shame us. It may correct us, but it does not degrade us. But at some point, I am growing has to become a practice. At some point, I am healing has to become I am choosing differently. At some point, I want peace has to become I am no longer entertaining what keeps disturbing me. And at some point, I want real has to become I am willing to become real with myself first. Self honesty is not always easy. It is one thing to say they were not real with me, and it is another thing to ask, was I honest about what I needed? Was I honest about what I ignored? Was I honest about where I settled? Was I honest about the signs I kept calling confusion? Was I honest about the fact that I wanted someone to change, but I did not want to change my access to them? Was I honest about the part of me that wanted truth, but only if it confirmed what I already believed? Because sometimes we want honesty from everybody else while we are still negotiating with ourselves. We know something does not feel right, but we keep trying to explain it anyway. We know something is draining us, but we keep calling it love. We know someone is showing us who they are, but we keep waiting for them to become who we want them to be. So, how do we actually apply this? Because it is not enough to just say be real. We need tools. The first step is to ask yourself, what truth am I avoiding? That question alone can open a door. Maybe you are avoiding admitting that something no longer fits you. The second step is pause. Take a deep breath before you respond. Sometimes the most mature thing you can say is, give me a moment to process that. The third step is learn to ask better questions. Try asking, what are you trying to help me understand? Try asking, is there something here I need to look at that I'm missing? Try asking, can we talk about this in a way that feels safe for both of us? Now, that does not mean you let people disrespect you. The fourth step is check your delivery when you are the one being real with someone. Being honest does not mean being harsh. You can be direct and still be kind. You can be truthful and still be respectful. You can speak from your heart without trying to break somebody else's. And the fifth step is you are allowed to feel uncomfortable. You are allowed to need time. You are allowed to disagree. But try not to run from every conversation that challenges you. That next level of your life may require you to communicate better, listen better, choose better, release better, receive better, and be honest with yourself better. Sometimes we think being real means telling everybody else about themselves. But real growth is when you can tell yourself the truth too. Because once you get honest with yourself, you stop needing every lesson to come through pain. Realness is not here to break you. And self honesty may sting at first, but it can become the doorway to peace. Because the more real you become with yourself, the less you have to perform for other people, the less you have to pretend, the less you have to shrink, the less you have to chase validation from people who are not even being honest with themselves. This is when your energy changes. This is when your boundaries become clear. This is when your conversation becomes more intentional. This is when your relationship becomes healthier. So, here are my takeaways and what I want to leave you with. Ask yourself, am I saying I want growth while still choosing what keeps me the same? Am I asking people to be honest with me, but punishing them when they are? Am I labeling something as disrespect just because it challenged me? Everybody wants real until real asks them to grow. Everybody wants honesty until honesty interrupts the story they were comfortable telling themselves. Everybody wants vulnerability until vulnerability comes with tears, fears, boundaries, and needs. Everybody wants balance until balance means they are not the only person being centered. And sometimes, before we ask people to be real with us, we have to ask ourselves, can I handle their honesty? Can I hear their truth without making it all about me? Realness may not always arrive in the package you expected, but when it is handled with love, care, accountability, and wisdom, it can lead you closer to yourself. All right, that's it for today's episode. Thank you for tuning in to No Gossip Just Talk. Be sure to subscribe, share the show, and stick around for more episodes to come. And until next time, ciao for now.